I'm ready.
You should probably wait and then let her open them.
Yeah, I looked at that.
To me, there is no difference. I have no
I was thinking we had 3 minutes ago.
So let's pull up the
Right. My computer says
That
Two
would
coordinators.
Mine says 6:59.
We kind of do. Sort
Oh,
of.
never mind.
My computer says
Very
6:59.
close. Very close.
And I didn't wear my watch.
This thing here is telling me right now.
You would like a light there.
About right.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Barlow.
Here.
Bergeron.
Here.
Brem.
Here.
Devroy.
Here.
McLean. Here. Rezegi.
Here.
Rocha.
Here.
Stenzelbarton.
Here.
Tassava.
Here. Everybody here tonight.
Yeah.
Welcome. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody get a chance to look at the agenda. I have one thing I want to do. Carl Schuschel is here tonight to ask for permission for the ball drop. He is item 9A. We're going to move him up just after 8A. 8A is presentation from Peggy Heverling of the Jingle Mingle. Are those kids here?
No,
They're not coming?
I apparently not. I told them and I emailed them all of the information, so I'm kind of surprised.
Do you have their...
I have their
Okay.
essays.
We'll call you. So we're gonna move 9A to 8A2.
Okay.
Everybody got that?
Yep.
Understand what I'm doing? I want Carl to sit through a presentation, it'll probably last an hour, so. Okay, anything else? Entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make that note.
Back in the areas available.
Who?
Stencil Barton, do I have a support?
Support?
Great, all right, you got it. Well, that was the way it went, but.
Close enough,
We
sir.
have a motion by Stencil Barton, support by Rocha, to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay, in your packet, you have the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 workshop meeting. I hear a motion to approve. Is there any questions or corrections on that? I hear a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 24th.
Okay, motion by Devroy, supported by McLean, to approve the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 workshop meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Item B, consider approval of the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Your Honor, I move we approve the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 regular meeting as written.
Support.
Okay, motion by Stenzelbarton, supported by McLean, to approve the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Public hearing, we have none. Public comment, anybody here would like to address the council? I'll give you 3 minutes. Formal recognitions and presentations, we have Peggy Heverling of the Jingle Mingle Prince and Princess Committee here. She's gonna give us a little presentation.
Well, I really thought the kids were coming. The kids from last year came and they seemed very excited about it when we talked about it, but apparently there were other things going on. So we had Charles Leisure, who's a 3rd grader at Star School, was our winner of our prince. He was our prince. And you want me to read his essay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You act like a little kid.
He read it pretty well,
I thought
not
he did
like a
pretty
little
good.
kid.
Especially in the dark.
Christmas is my favorite time of year. I love waking up early and seeing all the presents under the tree. the lights sparkle, and it feels like magic is in the air. My family and I always eat a big dinner together on Christmas. On Christmas morning, my brother and I race to the tree to see what Santa brought us. We take turns opening presents so everyone can see what each person gets. I love giving gifts too because it makes my family smile. After all the presents are open, we play with our new toys together and watch TV Christmas movies. What Christmas means to me is not just presents or food, it's being with my family. It's the time when everyone is happy and kind. We forget about being busy and just enjoy being together. So, and then our
Very good.
princess was Peyton Slater, and she's a 4th grader at Southeastern Elementary. And she wrote, "To me, Christmas means that we should celebrate Jesus' birthday and that he was born so that we could have eternal life. He was perfect and selfless and gave himself for us. The magic of Christmas is undeniably felt in the air around us. This day reminds us that we should treat others the way we want to be treated, by being kind and thoughtful. We show this magic to friends, family, and neighbors by doing things like shoveling their driveway, giving gifts, sharing meals. To share this Christmas spirit, families and towns come together to spread joy and make sure everyone has the things they need. The town I used to live in hung mittens, hats, and scarves from the trees downtown for people who needed them to take them. It was a very beautiful way to share the meaning of Christmas to those in our community. Christmas is for sharing your time and the love that Jesus gave to us. That is what Christmas means to me." So they did a wonderful job of reading their essays at the mayor's tree lighting, and had the opportunity to turn the tree on, and then rode in the Christmas parade with Santa in the sleigh. So, yeah, we've got some talented kids in our community.
Well, I think they're great kids. They're, just a little bit listen to them, and they're real genuine when they read their essays.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you wonder if maybe the parents wrote them, but these kids wrote them.
I think the parents probably edited.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the kids wrote them, and then
Yep.
there was some editing.
Yeah,
But
this is still my favorite part of Jingle Mingle,
Yeah.
when we do the crowning of the prince and princess, so. Thanks, Peggy.
Yep.
Okay, next item, Carl Social. Consider approval on the direction of staff, the request from Carl Social to hold the annual New Year's Eve ball drop event in downtown Hastings from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. on December 31st, 2025 and January 1st, 2026. Go ahead, Carl.
Well, it's pretty hard to follow those essays,
Yeah.
but I do want to state for the record that I offered to you to stay right where I was on the agenda and said I've never left a meeting early.
Well, you can still hang around.
Tonight may be the first time, though. Well, thank you for considering the request to have our 16th annual New Year's Eve ball drop at the intersection of State and Jefferson. We've done it every year except for the year that we couldn't do it because of COVID. And in the materials that I submitted, there was a copy of the program sheet from last year's program. Pretty much everything will be the same. We'll have the warming tent with activities for the children. Mr. Rezegis agreed to have the fire pits going again. So if it's cold, then hopefully we can deal with that. The Holly Trolley will be going back and forth from the Holiday Inn Express to downtown throughout the night. We start with John Anderson as a disc jockey at 9 o'clock with music and dancing. And then the mayor will get the ball started on its way down. And when it comes down, then we'll have the sound and light show. And I've already presented all of the information about that show to Chief Jordan. So be happy to answer any questions, and hopefully you'll approve our activities.
Any questions for anybody?
No, I just want to say thanks, Carl, for all of your hard work in putting this together for our community year after year.
It's really special.
It is pretty special.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Support.
Motion by Rezegi, support by Devroy, to approve the request to hold the New Year's Eve ball drop event downtown Hastings from 5 p.m. until 1 a.m. on December 31st, 2025 and January 1st, 2026. The only comment I got about the whole thing, Carl keeps telling me where to stand.
I also have offered to you every year that you could ride the ball down.
I'd give $5 to see that.
Oh, I would charge admission for that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank
Ooh,
you.
that would be a good fundraiser.
So happens when you don't ask for a vote.
Yeah, I'm asking for a vote. Any other questions, comments?
No, just real quick, those fireworks are honestly some of the best fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
I would never thought moving here into Hastings that would have been like, they would have been that as good as they are. They really are.
We use the same company every year, and appropriately, it's Wolverine fireworks.
There we go, I love it. Perfect.
Okay, if no further questions or comments, roll call.
Rocha,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Stensel Barton,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Carl.
Thank you.
See you about 10, no, I'll be there early.
Yeah, me too.
So you hang around if you like, Carl, or you're more than welcome to.
Peggy said she needed an escort out.
Okay.
Such a gentleman.
Rough crowd here.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have a presentation from Jason Ball and Christopher Zoll, Progressive Companies, about State Street, west of Broadway, State Street corridor. Gentlemen.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is James Kilborn, Chris Zoll. We're here with Progressive Companies. We are starting to do some planning work for the West State Street corridor. So kind of teeing this discussion up, in 2028, MDOT will be reconstructing State Street. So prior to that, we want to be looking at how the road can better serve the community, what its needs are. We do have a presentation slide here, so we're hoping to take the next 45 minutes and just have a discussion about State Street and really teeing this up. This is we call it the state of the corridor. So this is just kind of the existing conditions as they stand today. So kind of like a State of the Union address, if you will. It's just really kind of how things are today.
So as a part of this process, Mayor, if you will allow, we'd be willing to entertain questions throughout the presentation. If there's something somebody wants to talk on, or we can back and revisit it as we move along as well. We do have about 45 slides. We're hoping to move through them fairly quickly. We're going to be using the presentation, which I think everybody can see in front of you, right?
I can't see it very good.
Sort of open the PDF instead. The screens are still messed up.
Right, so I'll keep entertaining as we get the technology together. And just a little bit of background, you have planning and engineering working together. I know it's kind of novel, but this is the way that we do business at Progressive. I am a traffic engineer and have been for about 25 years, working for the city of Grand Rapids for 15 of those years, and with Progressive for the past 7. James?
Yeah, so I've been with Progressive for about 3, going on about 4 years. Prior to that, I was in Ottawa County for about 2 years as well. So, working in communities across the state. So really glad to be here.
We're set.
All right, let's go. So if we can go to the next slide here. This just kind of lays out what we're looking to address tonight. Again, these are just existing conditions of just various data that influences the corridor, and we just want to walk through some of those with you. So if we want to go to the next, perfect. And this is just teeing up this conversation. So MDOT, this is the Transportation Improvement Plan. They are looking to reconstruct State Street, and it's a little tiny, but you can see that it's scheduled for 2028. So design work is going to be kicking off here, I want to say in 26. So prior to that, we just want to be, ensuring that we're planning for the future in whatever design is decided on.
The road construction and design process is rather lengthy. It's planned typically at least 5 years in advance, and that's what you're seeing here as part of that 5-year program. And design takes a significant amount of time, especially if we want to design it right, if we want to have some influence. So as a part of our steering committee, MDOT participates with us at our discussions. They were with us on Friday. We presented these same findings to the steering committee and continue to be good partners in the process.
All right, so as part of this, we wanted to just take an inventory of previous planning work. So Hastings had in 2016 a bike master plan. So we just wanted to pull from that, and it looks like Cook Road has is slated to get a 4-foot bike lane, as well as Green Street to the south was also slated for a 4-foot bike lane. And then also, if you look at Apple Street, there is a non-motorized pathway along it, and this plan had it following west of Industrial Drive as a continued pathway along that easement. If you want to go, perfect, thanks. And then also, just the community's 2021 master plan, it didn't explicitly mention improvements to State Street, but it did allude to some general improvements, saying how it's a very important corridor in the community. It's how a lot of people interact with Hastings. They're coming into town, they're leaving town. State Street is typically the one they're taking to get in and out of town. If we want to go to the next one, perfect. And then in 2022, there was a more regional trails plan for the entire county. And one thing to note here is this also looked at the side path along Apple Avenue. It just had 2 proposed alternates or alignments. One of those was following the easement along west of Industrial Drive, and then another one was jogging down the State Street to continue further west. So we just lay all these out just to acknowledge that previous planning work has been done for like the non-motorized connections in the area, and just make mention that we're going to be keeping these in mind going forward. All right, so as part of this, we want to look at the demographic factors, who lives in Hastings, who's moving to Hastings, how fast the community has changed. And I think there's been a perception that Hastings is growing extremely rapidly. And we just wanted to dive into that a little bit. And here's a map of Berry County. And as you can see, from 2000 to 2023, so about 23 years, Hastings has grown about 6%. So that represents a gain of about 500 residents to Hastings. That is, the community is growing, but it's not growing, extremely rapidly. If you go to Thornapple Township, Irving Township, areas that are kind of on the suburban fringe of Grand Rapids, those areas are growing pretty quick. I'm sure you all know this. This isn't new, but this is all just to say that Hastings is growing. It's not growing an extreme amount. So I have it highlighted in green. It's grown slightly, gained about 420 residents, while other townships have grown quite a bit faster. If we want to go to the next, thanks. So that's just a general statement of how the community's grown, but it's interesting looking at the characteristics of that population growth. And you can see this bar chart that the 17 and under population, compared from 2000 to 2023, has declined. So there are about 619 fewer, young age, school age children, teenagers in Hastings compared to 2000, whereas the population of senior residents has increased since 2000. So just some interesting characteristics around that. And then we also want to look at how people get around. I don't think this is going to be really shocking. People are still primarily driving as their means of getting to work. But something we did want to highlight is quite a few more people are working from home. I think that's, it's not Hastings specific. I think a lot of communities have experienced this since the pandemic. More people have that flexibility to work from home, so I think it's interesting to note that quite a few people in Hastings are doing that. All right, and then this is just the general characteristics of the inflow and outflow of people working and commuting outside of Hastings. So you can see there's an estimated about 2,900 employees working within Hastings every day. About 2,300 employees live in Hastings and then work outside of the community. So largely a pretty even split. And then there's about 500 people who live in Hastings and also work in Hastings every day. All right. I know we're kind of chugging through this presentation. Does anyone have any questions so far? Any thoughts?
Real quick, on your previous slide, you have a number of people working in Hastings. That's right now, correct?
Yeah, so this is...
Did you do any speculation of how many we'll have 5 years from now? Was that within your purview, or?
Yeah, it's a good question. This is just a snapshot. So this is using just ACS, like census data.
Right.
So the census produces this. So this is pulling from 23 data, I want to say. So it's about 2 years old. So it doesn't project into the future, but it just provides like a snapshot of conditions, as they are today, or 2 years old for this matter.
But your question of growth is a good one, and we talk about growth as it relates to traffic.
Stand by. I will check on their
some traffic information that shows a typical growth pattern. We usually use about 0.5% per year is kind of the standard. However, I think growth is going to be more dictated by, frankly, housing. The more housing that you as a community end up developing and making available is going to dictate how rapidly the community grows.
All right, understood.
Right, so I'm sorry, any other questions at the moment? Otherwise, we can keep powering through. Okay. So we also did a walking audit back in October, which was a lot of fun. We actually got out and walked the corridor. So as part of this, we took an inventory of just the physical conditions as they exist today. And we want to introduce this idea of curb cuts. So you're walking along State Street, and this is all like the egress points for cars where they turn into adjacent businesses. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in the corridor. And that, from a pedestrian standpoint, that can be challenging because you're trying to navigate, cars turning, people decelerating. So it can be tricky. So if you want to go to the next, thanks. All right, so we went ahead and took an inventory of all these curb cuts. And in the corridor, there are 47 along State Street from Broadway over to Cook Road. You can see there's more of them on the north side than the south side. So that's just kind of how that shakes out. There are a couple gaps in the network that we'll highlight. I think it's the next slide. Maybe not, but this just gets at the idea of, each business has, its own entrance. So it's tough because you'll have like, a 30-foot stretch and there might be 2 or 3, curb cuts in this area. And this graphic talks about how, if we can concentrate some of those entrance points, it just reduces the number of those curb cuts.
So 47 access points in approximately a mile is pretty high. It's not the most I've ever seen, but it's a fair number. And that's predicated on kind of that historical development pattern where each individual property had direct access to the trunk line. And so part of the new thinking around transportation and mobility is consolidating those access points and using cross-access, which there's some of that in the corridor now. There are some good things that are happening or have happened in the corridor already. We also know that the corridor has an access management group that meets and talks about development that comes to the corridor and how it accesses the trunk line. And so you've got some really good bones to work from, but we've also kind of developed things on patterns of the mobility expectations of the past, that car-centric, automobile kind of convenience maybe is the perspective that we used to develop upon.
All right, and here's that map, and that's just highlighting where those gaps currently exist in the sidewalk network. So you can see it's really east of Industrial Drive, kind of, yeah, just on the north side there.
So we showed you the 2016 non-motorized map from the trail network. This is representing the sidewalk network kind of within the study area. And when we did our walking audit, the gentleman in the wheelchair that was with us ran into some challenges. And frankly, we had to walk out and roll out in State Street to get through a couple of different properties that didn't have existing sidewalk access. So that's one of the things that we're definitely pointing out in the corridor, opportunities to help us improve with potentially the reconstruction of State Street in 2020.
All right, and this is just showing the actual MDOT right-of-way through the corridor. So it's about 95 feet from Broadway to roughly, Industrial Drive. And then west of Industrial Drive out to Cook is about 100 feet.
So James, right-of-way is a term that we use regularly. I don't know that everybody commonly knows what that term is. Right-of-way is the jurisdiction. It's the property that is dedicated to the roadway. And so from property line on one side of the road to property line on the other side is that right-of-way width.
All right, and let's talk about land use in the area. So we just went ahead and made this, we call it like a framework map. It just kind of shows land uses in the area. You can see closer to downtown on the right side of the screen, there's a very connected street grid. I think that speaks to, Hastings being developed, late 1800s, early 1900s. It's a historical town. It has like a very connected street grid. So walkability in that area is great. It's easy to get around. But as you move west of Market, it becomes a little more suburban development pattern. There's less street connectivity, and it gets a little more difficult to walk in that area. And as you can see, you have Green Street, you have the Fish Hatchery Park out there, you have the Corwell Health Hospital, and then you have just south of State Street, you have the Family Fair and that larger shopping center in that area. Something we do want to note is Apple Street runs almost entirely parallel to State Street, and traffic volumes on Apple are much less. I think the non-motorized trail through there is really nice. So I think those are assets that we can definitely we want to highlight and take into account in this plan. And then we also just looked at the city zoning map. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this. We just had really two takeaways. So there are 3 zone districts in this study area. So we have the general business district, we have a planned unit development district, and then also the West Business District, that B4 district. And if you want to go to the next slide, that would be great. Perfect, thank you. And just really 2 takeaways we had were the parking requirements for the B2 district are pretty high from other places that we've seen.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Oh, parking requirements?
No, you said it's high.
Oh, yes. So it's just you require more parking than say other communities would. So for example, in the B2 district, for every 1,000 square feet of space, you're requiring 5 parking spaces. Other places we've seen only require, say, like 3 or so. So that's just, the more land you need to dedicate to parking, it's, less room for other things. And then also in that B2 district, residential uses aren't permitted. The B4 district is a little more, I guess, forgiving in that they want more of that like traditional development pattern with housing, upstairs. So in that B4 district, they do permit residential units. All right. So we have an online survey currently ongoing. And we just wanted to provide some pretty much a summary of what we've heard to date. And we've had 550 respondents, which I want to encourage you all, that's really good. A lot of communities, it's really hard to get the word out that there even is a survey, and then much less getting people to take it. So I think 550 respondents is very, very high. Just a couple takeaways from this. You can see there's a bar chart, and most of the respondents are residents of the city of Hastings, or they live in Berry County, but maybe they travel into Hastings, whether for work or shopping. So we can see that the people responding to the survey, they're familiar. They're presumably familiar with State Street, so that's great. And this isn't really surprising, but 99.6% of the respondents said that they use a car or truck as their transportation mode. That's really not surprising, but you can see other respondents. I think walking was the second largest one. I got a kick out of probably like the 2 or 3 people who said motorcycle. But just interesting to see how people are getting around the corridor. All right, and then we're just really gauging the temperature of how people interact with the road. Do they like it? Do they love it? Do they hate it? And results are kind of middle of the road. People are kind of meh on it. They're either somewhat satisfied or unsatisfied. There's not a ton of people who are like, oh, this is the worst road ever, or this is like the best road they've been on. So, and I think that really tracks with what we've seen. We've worked in a lot of pretty rough corridors that need a lot of work. I want to encourage you all, State Street is not that corridor. There's a lot of good bones there. There's a lot of good things that we can work with. But with that, I mean, there is room to do better. So I think people are pretty accurate in saying, it's not great, it's not terrible, but it can be better. And then we put together this word cloud, and I think this is pretty funny. So kind of speaking to with how people get through the corridor, primarily it's driving. So I feel like that informs when we say, okay, if we want to, what are the issues with State Street? It's rough, it's busy, it's bumpy. So in my mind, that speaks to like the roadway condition and like driving along the road. Maybe the pavement, there are some cracks in where the concrete meets, so I can see it being bumpy. But when we ask what people want to see for the future, smooth, safe. Other takeaways were slower, organized, convenient, pedestrian. So, just noting that there are that some people do want to get through the area, maybe on foot or on a bike.
And I do presume that the respondents here for smooth is primarily talking about pavement condition. I wish that they were talking about traffic flow, but I'm thinking it's pavement condition. But we're going to address both of those.
And then just an overarching question, we had some items listed of design options for State Street, proposed improvements, and just ranking how important they were for folks. So really the ones that were most important were street and pedestrian lighting, accessibility features, improved sidewalks, pavement, pedestrian infrastructure. And then also street trees and landscaping were mentioned as desirable amenities for the area. Actually, could we go back to that one? I just want to pose the question, are there any items that you guys think are missing here? Like you talk with people about State Street. Are there any other items that usually come to the surface or you guys hear outside of these?
The only thing I've heard was signage.
Signage?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you think we're talking about commercial signage?
Commercial signage.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
It is pretty interesting. 99.6 identify as drivers within the corridor, but the things that they're most, ranking the highest are related to the pedestrians. Good sidewalks, good lighting, wider sidewalks. So I think maybe more people would walk or would bike along the corridor if it felt more comfortable.
Well, it might mean too, though, if there's better lighting, maybe the driving public can see the guy on the street.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's how I look at it, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like the corner of Market and State is dangerous.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a dangerous intersection.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show you how dangerous in just a minute.
Okay, great.
All right. So we also, like I mentioned earlier, we did a walking audit of the corridor. The weather was gorgeous, but a couple of key takeaways here were the speeding and truck traffic along the corridor. I grabbed 2 images here of a tractor trailer pulling a house and then also a logging truck. So there's just a lot of trucks driving through the corridor. Usually at pretty high speeds, and it's noisy. It's pretty loud. It's hard to carry a conversation out there. And then also, like we mentioned earlier, sidewalk gaps. There are some tripping hazards in the area, so people with mobility impairments, that's a challenge for them.
So the task at hand here, it's challenging because State Street is where we want the trucks, frankly. But we want them traveling kind of maybe smoother or safer or more comfortably, as well as the rest of the traffic. And looking to create an environment where you can walk across the street. That we can provide those tools so that you can get to the north side and the south side without necessarily taking your life in your hands every time you attempt to cross the street.
Yeah, and then just a couple other takeaways were, like Chris mentioned, we want to make it easier to get across the street. We saw a number of people trying to get across, towards the family fair. And it's tough because you're looking at both sides of traffic, looking for a gap. So it is challenging. And then also talking about vehicle cross access. So again, those egress points of once you're off State Street, how you're navigating the businesses in there. Something that we do want to mention is the north side of State Street is interesting because a lot of those parcels have through access to Apple Street in the back. So they have dual frontage, which is a really unique feature of those parcels. And then, we understand that there might be change coming to the corridor, so we just want to make sure that any changes account for growth down the road.
All right, so before you move to the next slide, we've seen a tremendous amount of development and growth and new housing products coming to the area. Traffic, especially along State Street, described as chaotic, concerning. So, as a guess, do we believe that traffic on State Street has increased or decreased over the last 20 years? Anybody willing to take a guess?
No, it's had to have increased.
Had to have increased. Makes sense. So much more development, right? Well, actually, it's dramatically decreased.
Doesn't make me feel bad.
I appreciate you stepping out there because that's the sentiment. That's the impression, is that we are getting busier and busier with our new developments. But actually, back in 2022, our traffic volume was closer to 19,000 vehicles a day along State Street. Currently today, we're down to about 12,500. So we've seen an increase in population in the last 3 years, yet we've seen a decrease in traffic. Some of that, I think, is maybe related to work from home. And you also, we talked about the changing in the demographics of the population. I do think that influences our driving patterns as well. All right, so moving to the next slide, talking about an operational analysis. Roads that are 5 lanes wide or 4 lanes for through traffic at varying speed limits can handle 45, 42, 43,000 cars a day. Roads that are 2 lanes, 1 lane in each direction, with those varying speed limits can typically handle closer to 22, 23,000 cars a day. So based on this, it would potentially suggest that we are overbuilt for the traffic that we have today, the traffic that we had 20 years ago, and we would have to increase by approximately 30,000 cars to reach the upper limit of the capacity that we have available today. So as a part of this project, MDOT is ripping out the entire roadway. We have an opportunity to influence what gets put back. All right, so moving to the next slide, this is an operational analysis. This is talking about that roadway capacity. So what you're seeing are the traffic volumes throughout the day. That's that blue dinosaur-looking curve where we see fewer people in the wee hours of the morning, and then we see a large spike in the morning peak hours. Then we see a steady rise throughout the middle of the day, and then we hit our peak when everybody tends to go home at the end of the workday, and then that tapers off through the evening hours. This is a pretty typical curve for traffic patterns. You'll see this in many communities. The dark is the utilization, the capacity that we're using. The light above it, all the way up to that gold line, some would describe as waste, is excess. It's capacity that's not being used. There are communities where that peak does go above the roadway capacity line, right? And that line, frankly, gets exceeded when your volumes exceed your capacity. So this is frankly to say that we have more room in our network than what we need today. Even if we were to lower that line, again, we would still have excess capacity within the corridor. All right, on to safety. So we pulled a crash analysis over the past 5 years, which is the most current data that's available, 2020 through 2024. There's been 141 crashes in the corridor. Those are mapped out with the dots based on where those incidents occurred. We had 37 crashes that resulted in injuries, 4 of which were severe or incapacitating injuries, and 3 of those occurred near the State and Industrial Park intersection, which is kind of the worst of the worst within the corridor, if you will. I would like to affirm that we all believe 0 is the right number of fatal and serious crashes on our roadways. This is an initiative that we've heard at the state level, we've heard it at the federal level as well, and many cities have also adopted their version, often called Vision 0, striving towards 0 serious injuries and fatalities on their roadways.
All right, and this is looking at just the pedestrian crashes over the same time period. So this is going back, I believe, 4 years. Unfortunately, there were 2 crashes, and this is just describing the characteristics of those pedestrian crashes. So one occurred in 2020, the other one occurred in 2021. So yeah, just the characteristics of those crashes.
And both of those resulted in injuries. Different order than what I had before. All right, so when we look at the crash frequencies within the corridor, they've fluctuated a little bit throughout the years. 2020 had the highest number of crashes resulting in injuries. Remembering back in that time, fewer people on the roadways, people tended to travel faster, a little bit more aggressively, and we saw a significant uptick in injury crashes systematically during that time period. Continuing with the crash analysis, 32% of the crashes resulting in injury occurred not in the middle of the night, but rather in the middle of the day. So it's not dark out, but between 12 and 2, we're getting a third of those injury crashes. A quarter of our crashes occurring during the peak hours. And we're representing a relationship between some of the traffic volumes and crash severity. As volumes and congestion increases, crash severity decreases. Right, so you could correlate that to speeds. So as there's more vehicles on the road, we're tending to drive slower. Driving slower results in fewer injury crashes. Make sense?
Real quick, was any of this information broken down by season?
We can go back and look at seasons in the data.
And that may just be me. I mean, I don't know if anybody else likes data, but I love data.
So give me a little bit more. We want to know if seasonal factors, whether it's
Winter.
rain, weather, snow, were involved or a part of the reason a crash occurred.
Yes.
Yeah, we can absolutely dig into that for you. All right, and then a part of our analysis, we calculate the crash rates. So this is comparing yourselves to the number of crashes occurring within our road segments as it compares to other standard road segments as well. 141 crashes, 4 severe and fatal crashes, results in a crash rate that is astronomical for this small section of road. We have way more injuries than we should be having in this small segment. Yeah, that's the big takeaway here. All right. In looking at some of the national trends as it relates to crashes, as an industry, we had been trending down as the vehicles have gotten safer, and then over the past 10 years or so, past 5 years in particular, we've seen an uptick in crashes. So please, don't drive distracted. I do think that some of the cell phones and technology is potentially one of the major influences, as well as additional substances that are now legal in Michigan are impacting our crashes.
That's your guess or statistic?
So our data, so that we don't have 5 years of data yet to demonstrate that full correlation, but nationally we have seen crashes increasing over the past 5 years. I haven't seen that distracted driving is absolutely the cause of that, but I'm seeing more of it in our crash reports. All right, I think we move to themes next.
Yeah. Yeah, go to the, I think we can, well, yeah, we can touch on this real quick. So this is kind of a funny little graphic, but this is introducing the idea of a strode. So it's not quite a road, it's not quite a street, but it's really the worst aspects of both. So you think of a road, it's to get you from point A to B, pretty quickly, pretty efficiently as possible. Limited stops, pretty free-flowing traffic. Whereas a street is typically going to be lower speeds, residential, people, more pedestrian-oriented. And whereas a strode is trying to do too much. So you have businesses, a lot of businesses along the road. You have people slowing down, trying to turn in, trying to cross the street, but you're trying to maintain as fast as possible traffic through the area. And really that's just a recipe for disaster. So yeah, just we just want to plant that seed of this is a pretty rough road design, and yeah, we're just we see quite a few of these across the state, and they're typically the most dangerous street segments that we see. So, Chris, I don't know if you had anything to add. Otherwise, we can move on to emergency.
Yeah, it's trying to be that neighborhood street. It's trying to be that thoroughfare, and when you put the both of them together, you don't get a good result. And we can help fix that.
All right, so bringing it home, we just have a number of emerging themes. So number one being Hastings' population has grown pretty slowly, but traffic volumes are also down over that period of time. So although Hastings has grown 6% over the past 23 years, traffic volumes have decreased 35% over the same time period.
So we talk about the slow growth, but back in the data we showed earlier, I think it's important to remember the state of Michigan as a whole has only grown by 1%. So the area is still growing faster than the state as a whole, but we're also not growing as fast as some of the suburban areas closer to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and then number two is, again, just alluding to the experience as a pedestrian. If you're walking down State Street, it's really not a comfortable environment. People trying to cross, a lot of curb cuts. It can be dangerous, people turning off State Street. So just a lot of truck traffic, a lot of noise. It's just not a very pleasant place to walk at this point. And that also gets at number three, the safety and speeds. So people are driving through the corridor 50, 55 miles an hour. Those higher speeds lead to more severe crashes when they do happen, unfortunately. So that's something that we want to look into and address, especially at some of those intersections that they're kind of like the hot spots for those crashes. And then we did want to leave on number four. This is a really unique opportunity. MDOT doesn't reconstruct streets annually. This is really our opportunity to get it right and create a future State Street that works for all sorts of people. I think our next slide here is just presenting a timeline of where we're at. And then just in general, State Street is slated for construction in 2028. There's a lot of design work that goes into that prior to that. And we're currently in December. We're presenting here. And then in March, we are planning to have an open house. So folks from the public can come and share their thoughts on what they want to see in the future of the corridor.
All right, so we've given you a tremendous amount of information tonight, and this is basically level setting. This is our benchmark that we're going to work from. Now, we understand our community may be better than we did previously. We have the data to prove it. We're going to work through a process to engage the community, help educate them with some of this information along the way, and talk about what some of those opportunities are. We know that there's a mire coming. There's absolutely going to be some impacts with traffic patterns as a result of that. We're going to recognize that. That's going to be a part of the discussions. But we also know that we want to make sure that we are taking this opportunity to better improve the access and operations for State Street. I think it's fair to put into the conversation the ideal speed that we feel people should be traveling within the corridor, and potentially influencing the physical characteristics of the corridor to help encourage people to drive that speed. All right, so that's a lot of information. This is the first step in sharing some of this with you as a process. We're going to be here for some community engagement, some additional follow-up. Glad to help answer any questions now. If there's additional things that maybe wasn't included here that you'd like to see, we can take a look at that as well.
When you say there's been that much of a decrease of traffic, is that just through the corridor? Or is that everywhere around town?
That is specific to our study area corridor. So where we show it on the map, that mile length of segment is seeing that decrease. Regionally, it varies by corridor. Some corridors are up, some corridors are down. But great question, right? Is driving down as a whole? I think that's very difficult to answer regionally. Nationally, I believe driving still continues to tick up as a whole.
Well, I can tell you one reason for it is I think lots of people are going down Green Street now and getting off of the corridor because they don't like the speeds, etc. And they are taking Apple more, me for one, because it's just as accessible, and like you say, it runs parallel almost all the way down.
Yes.
And I think that's why you've seen some of that decrease.
And you make an excellent point there. It would be interesting to see how the decrease in the corridor correlates with 37 south out of town.
Yeah.
See if that is equal, or even 43 north to Woodland.
Yeah, we'll be glad to take a look.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
You know, one of the things you're talking about doing, you're talking about modifying the width of the 5-lane going out. Just my experience today, I was on my way to Caledonia, and when I left the light at Broadway and State Street going west, traffic picked up to about 45. Before we got to Industrial, it was doing 50 miles an hour. When it got out where the road started narrowing back down to 3-lane, the traffic dropped down 30 miles an hour going out. So, if speed is the issue, and one of the reasons these people are here right now, they came to us, with an idea, the state's going to do some work out here, can we give you some ideas on what you can ask for? I think the state's pretty receptive on us coming up with ideas for that road out there, and any ideas you might have, share them with Sarah, she'll get them to these gentlemen. So, any other questions?
Yeah, MDOT has been at the table. They're a partner with our steering committees, and frankly, they were even suggesting some ideas to me kind of offline about what we could even potentially pilot or try before it actually gets reconstructed. And we've done some of those pilots in other communities to get some feedback, and that's a very insightful process.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys. That's fine.
I'd love that.
I'll talk to him.
You have a question?
I was just wondering
Go ahead.
what next steps were after this.
So our next steps, we do have a steering committee that's been meeting about monthly, roughly. So we're going to be continuing to meet. And then our next, we're going to have an open house. We're slated for March, is I think when we'll have that. And that'll just be like an open house format. We'll have multiple activities trying to gauge people's input on the corridor and how they interact with it.
With with all these different ideas that are coming around, are there going to be opportunities for us to see perhaps several different variations of what that street could look like, so we can kind of visually put away to it, like, hey, this is one with trees down the center, and hey, look, this is one with only 2 lanes, and hey, look, is there going to be opportunity for us to see myriad different variations in that?
Yeah, so we're going to be, we'll have multiple options for people, and we'll be identifying those preferences of like, okay, what do people want to see the corridor, what don't they want to see?
So that's exactly what the steering committee is going to help us do, take some of those best ideas, pull them together into some concepts that we'll then be able to discuss as a community.
Perfect. Thank you.
See, one of the big challenges with doing anything now, or even like we talked about islands or whatever, is because you have so many curb cuts on the north side of the road.
Yes.
So where do you put a driveway opening, in the middle of State Street? But a lot to do.
Indeed. Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks. Back there. It's all roads. It's all right. It's all right. Okay. We're at item 10. Did I already see us at?
Yes.
Conduct second reading and consider adoption of ordinance number 634 to amend Division 2366, Article 2, or is that Article 11, of Chapter 2 of the Hastings Code of 1970 to establish, modify the appointed city officers. Everybody get a chance to read this ordinance? Do we have any questions of Sarah before I ask for a motion? Okay, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Rocha? Okay, motion by Rocha, supported by McLean, to approve, to adopt ordinance number 634 to amend Division 2, 11166, Article 11 of Chapter 2 of Hastings Code of 1970 to establish and modify appointed city officers. Any questions? Everybody understand what we're doing here? Yep. Roll call.
Brem,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Stenselbarton,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Also in your packet, you have the first reading of ordinance number 635 to amend the Hastings-Rutland Joint Planning Commission zoning ordinance. You want to tell us a little bit about this, Dan or Sarah?
So the proposed changes are really relatively minor, which you'll have noticed if you read through them. A lot of these things are allowing a little bit more flexibility in the JPC's interpretation or implementation of some of the standards that they have, especially when it comes to larger parcel developments. So these were discussed several times at the JPC and are now recommended for both your approval and the Township Board.
So these kind of popped up because of possible building of Myers out there?
It's my understanding that that's kind of what moved the timeline forward, but I mean, as you can see, they're not specific to, certainly not a particular property, but not even necessarily just large facilities. They're related to lighting, screening, landscaping, lot coverage, and how many signs count towards the total. So they're all fairly minor in my estimation.
Okay, so like I said, this is first reading. Go over it. If you have any questions, ask Sarah. It'll be brought back up at the next council meeting. Item C, consider approval of resolution 2025-29 to amend resolution 1997-29 by modifying the membership of the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Board. Let's talk about this one. Dan?
Yeah, I can take this one. So yes, the Brownfield, the BRA, the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority was put in place by City Council, I believe in 1997, via resolution that Council adopted at that time. So this resolution basically amends that by modifying the membership of the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority from, I think, anywhere from 5 to 9 members.
Yeah, I was going to ask as well if you guys wanted to specify how many members there are. So the statute says there has to be not less than 5 and no more than 9 persons. Typically, a number is established in a resolution such as this. So I would encourage something a little bit more specific. You can always change it with a future resolution if you so choose. But really, as Dan was introducing this, the resolution that established the BRA referred to the existing LDFA as the board. So since the LDFA has dissolved, It basically just needs to be reestablished and clarified that the BRA continues to exist as a standalone board.
I personally would like to see 7 members on that board.
I would support that.
That was the number I
Mhm.
thought
Me
of
too.
in my head.
I think 7 would be the right number, you know, because occasionally you have a little bit of an issue getting a quorum, you know. If
Yep.
we have 7, I don't think we need 9. 5, now it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Everybody agree with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
7.
Okay.
I will agree with the mayor on this.
Okay,
That section there, or the modification of section 6 about the board, where it's highlighted not less than 5 nor more than 9 persons, that will be
7.
7.
Mhm.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve resolution 2025-29?
I make that motion to approve resolution 2025-29.
I'll support that motion.
Okay, motion by Deveroy, supported by Rezegi, to approve resolution 2025-29 to amend resolution 1997-29 by modifying the membership of the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Board. Any questions? Roll call.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Stenzelbarton,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item D, consider authorizing the submission of a letter of support for the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development Align Program Grant as presented.
I'll make that motion, sir. I'll support that.
Okay, a motion by Barlow, supported by Rezegi, to authorize submission of a letter of support for the MDARD Alignment Program Grant as presented. Comments, questions?
I didn't fully understand what this is.
So my understanding is that the grant would fund staffing or, maybe contract work for somebody to apply for grants or other opportunities to bring more resources to our area.
Okay.
That's through the Berry County Economic Development.
Correct, yes.
Any other questions? Got a motion to approve and support. Roll call.
Devroy,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Stenzelbarton,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item E, consider scheduling a public hearing on January 12th, 2026 at 7 p.m. to accept comment on the Northridge Estates condo PUD. I think everybody's got that from, don't they? Yeah. No, that's something else. Never mind.
I'll make the motion to schedule a hearing on January 12th, 2026 at 7. To accept comment on Northridge Estates.
Do I hear-
PUD.
Do I hear support?
Support.
Motion by McLean, supported by Brown, to schedule a hearing, public hearing for January 12th, 2026 at 7 p.m. to accept comment on Northridge Estate Condos PUD. Any comments, questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this the project behind the Bliss off of Star School?
No,
Or
this is
a
the
different
one, up off of
North Jefferson.
Calgary.
Calgary and.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Right.
Any other questions?
Geez, I should know which one.
Okay, roll call.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Stenzelbarton,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item F, consider approval of purchase of a 3-camera DVR system for the exterior of the fire department from Riverside Electronics for the cost of $5,961. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Brem, supported by Barlow, to approve the purchase of a 3-camera DVR system for the exterior of the Hastings Fire Department from Riverside Electronics for the cost of $5,961. Questions?
I have some. This is expensive. I'd see just one quote. The cost almost $6,000. I have a full video surveillance system at home, didn't even cost me $600. I understand that you want a higher end professional. I can't see, even if I went piece by piece on here, I couldn't spend that much money. It says a 3-camera. I see the 1 camera, which is a watchdog turret, which is a watchdog swivel camera. I don't see the other ones. A digital watchdog IP wide lens, VMP. I don't even know what that is.
8 MP.
What?
8 megapixel.
Oh, is that 8? It looks like VMP on mine. So that's a camera as well?
Yeah.
I couldn't, even when I went part by part on online, I couldn't. We didn't get any other quotes?
This is using the existing company that the city already uses. So this will allow us to tie it into the existing system we use here at City Hall and DPW and at the water plant. So the police chief will have access to the same videos that he does the rest of the village, the rest of the city.
So it's more of a network.
Correct. It's a network system.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this only going to be able to take 3 cameras?
No, it'll take up to
more.
It'll take up to 8.
Okay, that's good. Good idea.
That's all we needed for now.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
It's completely transferable. When we do get to the point of having a new facility, we'll be able to take it with us.
Okay.
I'm not I can't consider myself a super smart person when it comes to electronics, but 8 megapixels seems very, very little for a high definition camera that we're trying to use, especially for the price that we're doing. Is it a good camera?
That's a nice camera.
All right, well, I'll take it from
That's
this
what
guy,
I
but it
use.
just, but does it seem a little, is there a way to get an itemize of what each one of the, a breakdown itemization of each one of these things? So I feel like you might be able to gut and get better high quality cameras for a cheaper price. I'm just curious if we can get an itemized of this, of what each one of these.
I mean, I'm not a camera guy myself, so I went to the Riverside, who is very well known for the products that they survive. I don't know if the police chief could talk about the cameras they have here.
So first of all, this I understand, sir, that your surveillance system at home is probably exactly what you need. We have no less than 21 cameras that we operate here now on a digital watchdog system. I don't know what kind of, I'm not sure, I think it's either a 4 or 6 terabyte drive. We do not pay a monthly subscription to that, nor would they for the fire department. So, obviously some of the cost, associated with some surveillance systems are monitoring, storage fees. We would do all of that, he would do all of that. This equipment is actually designed for that. I think currently now, with the 21 cameras that we monitor, I'm around 30 days storage before it overwrites. It's definitely, it's expensive, but I'm talking off the cuff here in regards to how long we've had Riverside and their services along with the digital watchdog. I think here we've had that for at least 2.5 years. We had to upgrade because the system that we had, I don't want to say crashed, but it was on its way to failing. Now, in regards to, I haven't looked at the proposal that Chief Jordan has, but in regards to the equipment that we do have, that's digital watchdog, we do have their cameras and, like I said, also their equipment. The service that we receive from them is bar none. I can call them on my cell phone and have them here within the next morning. In regards to having access to it,
I have access to the cameras on my work phone. Chief Jordan probably, I would assume, would have that same access. I would also have access to that should anything occur during the time in which, typically during the night. If I needed access, I could get that and grant that to the officers. Is this the best case scenario? I don't know. I don't have that answer for you. But this is probably also not something that we can Google shop for in regards to the equipment that we put on the buildings and keeping this stuff active and ongoing. I feel the equipment that we have has been, we've spent money of the citizens, and I think that's been the best money that we've spent in regards to the equipment that we currently have. So I don't know if that helps you at all, sir. If you have any specific questions based upon what we have, I just won't discuss where I have the cameras located.
We know where one of them located.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This service that Riverside provides, do they have the server that holds the data that comes from the cameras?
No, sir. We have that here.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And so there's no other fee from Riverside?
Correct, sir.
Okay.
And that also is fully
Thank you,
installed
Dan.
too.
Okay, yeah.
That wasn't on the quote.
I see that, but I just noticed that, but it is
I think
installed.
it mentioned it somewhere that
Yeah.
it was fully installed.
So these types of cameras are typically designed for this high-end type of work.
Yeah, I mean, we have several different types. Riverside has actually also gone and worked with me on some of our older model cameras to basically allow us to get that high def from our older cameras because of the cost, right? So I'm assuming the cameras that Chief Jordan here is proposing are similar to our newer ones that we have here. But again, I think every year, probably every 6 months, technology in regards to camera systems or security systems just kind of repeats itself and rewrites. Keeping up with that, it would be very tough. But I think, I think we've done a good job with that. And then what he's proposing here, I believe, would be appropriate and good to fall in line with what we're currently using.
You know, they have a lot of equipment sitting over there outside that's not owned by the city. And, do you think we'd have caught this person that set fire to the police car out there if we didn't have a camera? Right. Other than
She'd have caught him. Other than the camera, we wouldn't have the evidence.
Sir, I do say the deputy chief should have ran faster. But I think, yes, sir, we would have caught him without cameras, but the conviction actually in the courtroom with those cameras 100% helped.
I don't want to make it seem like I don't think we need the cameras. It just seems expensive from what I compared with what I see.
So it does look expensive.
Are these ANC hardwired or are they wireless?
Ethernet. It's a network.
No, not for the camera themselves.
It's an
to the
Ethernet.
hard drive.
It's
Is
an
it
Ethernet
ANC
connection.
hardwired?
It's hardwired, correct.
You have a comment, Jordan?
I think what we're only considering the hardware as the price. A lot of this cost is going to be for the professional installation of the cameras, the setup, the perpetual license of the software, and just the expertise of the company that we've had. They're going to have their little bit of profit in there too. They have to. That's part of the cost of doing business. I think overall, $6,000 for the system is probably pretty reasonable.
Shouldn't I got to step out? We have a fire.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
We could have Mark Meyer in your place.
The only other additional comment is I would hope, and I don't know how these cameras are, And I understand that the jail is different. And Chief, you've seen the video from the jail. It's absolutely horrendous. It's terrible. You can, even in the jail cells, you can almost make anything out. It's like dial up from the 1990s type of style stuff. I just would hope it would be much better and the clarity would be better to be able to make these convictions for the price that we're paying. Again, I understand that they're two different systems and they're older cameras, and they're getting ready to upgrade as well. But
sure, and unfortunately, the chief had to do his duty, go to fire. But I haven't been super involved in what he's proposing. I know the product. I'm definitely not a techie, okay? I will admit that. I know the product because of working with it. So in regards to what's been proposed in this, the product, the service, the quality, the accessibility, the retainment, the no reoccurring cost is where I typically would tend to go. But again, I'm not speaking 100% for Chief Jordan, but just based upon that is where I'm kind of coming from. So,
thanks, sir.
Any further comments?
How many cameras are we getting?
3 cameras.
Do we have any other cameras on the building right now?
I don't believe so.
It's it on there. I turned the page, sorry.
So there's 4 sides to the building, why wouldn't you get 4 cameras?
Well, you only need technically 2 if they're, the cameras.
This says.
So where are they putting them? On the roof?
1/8 at
That's
1/8.
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
be public information.
Yeah, that's
Need to know, sir.
Never mind.
Anyhow, 3 cameras. Purchase of 3 cameras. He said the system will hold up to 5.
Eight.
What he said? Eight, okay. You guys listen, I wasn't. Any other questions? We have a motion and support. Roll call.
Stenzelbarton,
No.
Devroy,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Okay, staff presentations and policy discussion. Pedestrian island design review. Sarah?
So I've included in your packet a concept drawing that was created by our engineers at Moore in Bruges. We met with them regarding the possibility of a permanent pedestrian island at the crossing of M43 and Broadway and Thorn Street there by Titan Park. There were some kind of unique characteristics that we had to work around. One being that the crossing isn't a direct straight line. It jogs diagonally. Another issue is the large electric pole that's right there on the corner, as well as some storm drains that we were trying to dodge. So after quite a bit of discussion, what is before you is kind of what we came up with and wanted to run past you. The crossing would allow for pedestrians who are waiting on the east side of the road to be in front of that large electric pole so that they can be seen by drivers more easily. And then there's a little bit of a jog in the island. I think it's 6 or so feet between those 2 crossings. So there is a little bit of a jog there, but it's not anything that's really significant. There's also a bit of a curb to discourage people from walking straight across where they're not supposed to be. And that guides people across the road. We've also included like a lighted crossing that people could activate when they want to use the crossing. Right now, there's just one in each direction. We had some discussion about possibly adding another one on the median. That's still kind of up in the air. That would add another, I think, $20,000 or so if we were to do that, if we felt that it was advantageous to do so as well. So just kind of wanted to show you this overall, as well as the cost estimate is in there. I want to say these PDFs on this, they just keep going, these crazy sizes. I think it's about $140,000 if I'm correct. 145 for that design that you see there. So first of all, are there any comments about the design itself? Because that's really the more important thing.
No,
They
this,
just, oh, go ahead.
oh, no, this is not gonna allow you to turn left, right?
That's correct. That's a really good point. So we had some earlier designs where we were trying to maintain the left turn, but those two crossings were just so far apart, we didn't feel like people were going to actually cross in the area where we had marked for them to cross, which could create more safety concerns later on. So this does require that that left turn be eliminated.
In either direction?
Just head south.
Just southbound, yep, to turn onto Thorn.
Would there be signage there then that would dictate no left turn?
There would be, yes. So I would imagine that still some people would try to turn left, but it will be marked for no left turn.
Sarah, what did you say could be an extra 20,000 if it was?
If we added another lighted sign in the median.
Okay.
So right now, it's just on the road edge, not in the median itself. We would have to add 2 additional signs.
Probably 2 signs.
We had some questions that weren't quite answered about how those signs maybe work together when they're activated, which ones light up how, and if we were to have one in the median, how that would be a part of the process, which weren't quite answered, but I felt like at least for this stage in the discussion, we could work that out later if we needed to.
So is the state receptive to a plan like this?
We don't know yet. You know, from our conversation with them, this fits what I felt we had discussed.
Well, they were leaning more towards a permanent island anyhow, weren't they?
They're open to us doing a permanent island. I don't think they have a preference.
So what do you need tonight?
So if you like this design, if you think this is something that we should move forward with, then we will work on getting some approval from MDOT for this. And then we can, I imagine you want a budget for this next year. This didn't strike me as something of particular urgency that needed to be done, you know, in the spring or before the budget comes out. But we would add this to our capital improvement plan and then budget maybe after July 1, unless you wanted to expedite it for some reason.
I have one more quick comment. Whoever designed this, whoever did this, I thought it was a beautiful job. I mean, every part of it was a great idea. The only question I had was this right here. If you're walking from here this way, isn't the sign blocking your view of southbound traffic on 43?
They're very tall.
Oh, I
How
didn't know
high did we say they were? We looked it up.
I think the bottom part of it is at 6 foot.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
so us
So
people
you're
6'1" are
gonna
gonna
be-
die in the street.
Probably.
They can maybe bend their knees just a little bit, and then they'll see
That
the
was
sign.
the only thing that I didn't
Oh, I
agree
can
with.
name
I liked
many
everything else
parts
about this. I
that
really liked the way
As a
it
short person, I'm okay with it.
The thought is to, what's the thought, go ahead with this and maybe
I'm
budget
for
for
it.
it?
I have a question though.
ahead.
How will this affect snow plowing?
They just plow around it.
That's state.
So we would probably, if we wanted the median cleared, we'd probably have to send some from DPS to do it, but MDOT will just plow normally along the edge.
So is this island in the middle of the road protected? Or is it just a spot that they have to stand to wait to cross?
There's a bit of a curb, and there will be reflectors similar to what's there now.
So we're gonna stop traffic on the road when people wanna cross? Is that the plan?
If they activate the signal,
Then traffic will stop.
then traffic should stop.
I'm surprised how many stop now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So the consensus is to move forward with this pricing and talk to the state.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not gonna spend any money if you talk to them.
I'm sorry?
I said we won't be spending any money if you just talk to them.
No, they've been very good about having meetings and conversations with us about improving
Is
this
there,
crossing.
there any kind of grants might be in the future for something like
Yeah,
this?
yeah, there are grants available. This is a relatively small project, so as far as like grants from MDOT, that's probably overshooting. But there's quite a few neighborhood accessibility grants, trail accessibility grants, things of that nature that may be a good fit for this. So that's also what we'll be looking at here in the spring.
So is that the whole premise here, is to connect the trail from one side to the other side?
Yes, yep.
Well, I think the biggest thing is trying to make that crossing safe.
Yeah, safety.
The trail connects from side to side.
Yeah.
It's just not safe without an island of some sort in there. Everybody in agreement? Go ahead with this?
Mhm.
Okay. City manager's report.
So I provided a hard copy for everyone of the draft, the updated draft of the Brownfield incentive policy. That will be on the agenda at the December 22nd meeting for your adoption, so this should give you plenty of time to thoughtfully review that. If you have any questions or concerns or something that you don't feel is reflective of the conversation that we had, please let Dan or I know so that we can address that and maybe clarify anything in there that needs to be clarified. Registration for the Citizens Academy is open. We've had 9 applicants so far, which I think is a great response. Applications are due, I think, the first Monday or so in January. And the first workshop is near the end of January. We'll be kicking stuff off with the library. And then as a reminder, Francie's retirement open house is this Friday at the library in the conference room, starting at 4:30? 4:30 to 6:30, I believe. So she's been with us for a very long time, and I'm sure she'd love to see you. So please join us in wishing her well on the next stage. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions? Okay, Chief Jordan was up next. We do have a guest here tonight, Mark Myers.
I can fill in for him a little.
Well, you know, I would want to give you the opportunity. He's our new ambulance service. What are you, the president?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I didn't know if anybody had any questions you might want to ask him about things since they've started. How's it going, you know? What kind of statistics you see in? Do you want to move to Hastings yet? Or stuff like that.
I have in some respects moved to Hastings, but nonetheless.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, again, I'm Mark Meyer, president of Life EMS Ambulance, and a very, very old paramedic. And just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. You got some tiny bit of numbers in your packet there, but nothing super earth-shaking. We're going to be, next week will be 90 days of service that we've provided paramedic ambulance service to Hastings and some of the rest of Berry County. So wanted to just kind of put a little color on the, I mean, the numbers are what they are, nothing earth-shaking. As we move forward, we'll have a little greater detail in putting some numbers together to Councilman Stencil Barton, who likes data. We don't have a lot of data here yet. But I think some of the things a little more important from Life EMS's perspective, you know, we've made the largest investment in delivery of emergency medical services probably in Berry County's history without question. We have 2 paramedic ambulances currently here in Hastings. Logistically, we're currently in the building that the Mercy folks use. We're leasing that from them, but we've made tens of thousands of dollars of upgrade to that building just because it needed some love from the perspective of our EMTs and paramedics that are stationed there, along with some additional equipment, that kind of thing. We're real happy to report, I think we initially hired about 9 folks from Mercy Ambulance, and then we've added to that, of course, with some staff from our Grand Rapids operation at Life EMS to actually have enough people on the ground here. We're currently up to, I think, at least 15 folks that are permanently assigned to this operation. And so the good news about that is these are additional folks we've hired that not only from the community, but from some of the surrounding areas and some experienced folks, but it still takes us a while to get those people trained to how we do things at Life EMS. And then anecdotally, we've had some great response from the folks in the emergency department at Pennock that can see the difference in how we take care of patients and how they arrive at the emergency department with certain advanced procedures done. And so we've had great response there and had some real positive wins of some very, very critical patients. We're very excited about how things are going. We have an operations director, deputy director, who's now been permanently promoted to oversee the Berry County and our Ionia County operations. So Jordan Tietzman, you'll meet her at some point, is permanently assigned to this area. And then we've had a couple of long-time, very experienced supervisors that have been assigned here to, again, kind of keep things shepherded until we get some additional folks in a supervisory spot. But anyway, so a lot of good things happening. I just wanted to see if there was, the mayor mentioned, any questions from you all or anything you've heard or whatever. Happy to address.
Terry, any question?
Good or bad. Happy to hear good stuff too. Anyway.
I was downtown yesterday and I seen a van go through. Or maybe that was today.
Today.
Yeah, today.
Yep.
Yeah. So you do have vans in there too now?
Yeah, so physically we have, I think, the 2 units that are permanently assigned here. One's a modular ambulance and one's a van type ambulance. And they're very, very, custom vehicles and stuff.
And this one looked more like just a van that had the writing on it that maybe you're taking somebody from the medical facility to the hospital. They don't need medical transport, but they need somebody to transport them.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're doing.
Yeah, we're doing more, again, for the hospital's benefit to move people out of the hospital in a less costly way. We have that, we call those our mobility vans, just a wheelchair capable van. And so we'll deploy that down here, one of those, to move patients around for the hospital and the care facility. And additionally, we have, as some of you know, we have a special behavioral health transport platform where we transport folks to behavioral health hospitals, and Pennock uses that, routinely on a weekly basis. They're little Ford Escapes that have kind of a soft police package in the back to safely transport those folks. So that's another resource that we brought to the area, and yeah.
Good.
And then we do have a meeting with the Birch group on Thursday, so we'll be giving them a little more detail and stuff. It'll be our first kind of meeting with that group. We had a little special meeting where they got a little update a few weeks ago, but this will be our first regular meeting. So, and any questions anytime at all, we're certainly here to help. And if you hear some, hey, those guys did, you know what, we just soon address things on a real-time basis, so you're always welcome to get a hold of us. And Sarah certainly and the chief know how to get a hold of us. So.
Any questions?
Got a quick question
Go ahead.
about your graph that you have here. The average arrival in minutes hovering around 5 minutes, which is...
I'm sorry?
Your average arrival in minutes is hovering around 5 minutes. That's awesome. But that next column, the patient contact in minutes, is that how long you spend with the patient?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So that includes on-scene time as well as transport to the hospital.
Okay, I was just hoping that it wasn't, we got there in 5 minutes and then waited 45 to talk to him.
Great point. And we'll have a little better, one of the things that's a little different here, that we're in the central dispatch folks have been great, Stephanie and her crew, but because we have to meld data from them instead of just our own data coming from our own dispatch center, will take a little while to kind of get some sensible numbers for you going forward. Not sensible, but a little more complete in types of patients that we're transporting, that kind of thing. So, but thanks for the opportunity and the honor to serve the area. We sure appreciate your trust, and we will continue to live up to that. So,
Okay, good. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, also in your manager report, you have Library Director Edelman's monthly report. Do you have anything to add, Dave?
No, sir.
Any numbers or anything? Was the library full Friday night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, holiday market was packed. I don't have door count yet, but it was definitely busier than it's been for the last couple of years. Saturday morning, honestly, it was a little down. Friends only gave out about 160, 170 cookies. Last year was around 220. They had 260 prepared, so they're going out to one of the hospitals to make sure that they get given out to people in need or who can use them. But overall, it was a really busy weekend, but especially Friday night.
Should have called a couple council members.
Or maybe not.
Cookies.
So, I mean, we had over 40 booths on Friday night, and everybody was packed. We had some nice notes come back from people that they enjoyed the event and appreciated the efforts that we went to make space for them. So it was a good evening.
Good. It was great. I was in there. Wasn't real packed. It was
steady.
It was steady. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Any questions of Dave? Okay. Reports and communications, Rutland Charter Township City of Hastings Joint Planning Commission meeting minutes of November 19, 2025. Item B, City of Hastings Downtown Development Authority draft meeting minutes of November 20, 2025. Item C, Hastings Public Library Board of Trustees draft meeting minutes December 1st, 2025. Entertain a motion to accept those three items, place on file.
So moved.
Okay, motion by McLean, supported by Devroy to accept items A through C and place on file. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Public comment. Mayor and council comment.
Just one, Mayor. If you would take a look at, I know that, I don't know, forgive me, I don't know how long it's been there, but the light right there at State and Broadway, that's been a blinking light for however long it has been like that. I know it's an MDOT road, so I'm curious as what the next steps would be to get that to actually be an actual light, because I hear constant complaints about that particular light, especially in the morning and coming home at 5 o'clock. The amount of traffic that's going on.
Flashing lights.
Which State Road?
Which one are you speaking
Up on the hill.
Up here?
Right on the hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, way on the hill. I'm just curious. I don't know.
Is there even a light?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same one that State. We don't have any lights in town.
It sorta does
Maybe I'll talk to you
something.
two guys in the back.
I'm just curious what the next steps would be to get that advanced, or if there is any thought in that. I don't know how long that's been there, but I constantly get things.
Well, there was a fatality there years ago, and it was an open intersection, a stop sign on east and west, and they put a flasher there. The argument they always gave, because I've heard this argument over the years, the state will not put a full traffic signal there because they don't want people, especially in wintertime, having to stop in the middle of the hill and try to turn either direction. But that's what they said. With road improvements and the salt and all that, I think 4 ton of salt on there, but yeah, that's a state highway, and they'll get a hold of it, rattle their chain. Any other questions, comments, Terry?
Jingle mingle, awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say.
Norman?
No, I don't, thank you.
Gordon?
Nothing from me.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Oh. I thought you would go last.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, in my opinion, I think Jingle Mingle was very successful and probably one of the best that we've had so far.
Mike, any comments tonight?
I do not, Your Honor.
Well, I was down, I started down there, we lit the manger at, I guess, 5 o'clock Friday night, 5:30, I don't know. Anyhow, that was the biggest crowd I've seen in all the years I've been doing it. You know, the lighting, the mayor's tree down here, there were so many kids and people down there. I think it was a great weekend. I thought we had served like 400 people at our pancake breakfast because we were running out of silverware. But I guess it was more like 384, I guess.
Wow, that's great.
Well, last year it was 300. And I don't know if any of you people are friends with me on Facebook. I am the official elf for Santa Claus. So if you need anything for Christmas, I got to check out to make sure you're good. Or just gonna give you a heads up.
I'm just gonna skip it.
I'm concerned that you
Stay away
lit
from
the
my house.
manger.
Pardon me?
You lit the manger.
Oh, yeah.
Lit it? That's disconcerting.
I know. Anyhow,
I do have one thing
Go ahead.
to say. Today I went by the plaza and I noticed the new memorial tree and there was quite a number of ornaments on it. And I
Oh,
thought that
that's
was really
cool.
nice and there's a nice sign and I think that's really nice that they did that.
Yeah, that's cool, yeah.
well, if there's nothing else coming before council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion by McLean, supported by Delroy. Do we adjourn the meeting? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We're adjourned.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
See you Thursday.
Yes, sir. Oh, you coming?
You
Say
bringing?
thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You bringing cookies again?
As much as I blew my nose.
I guess we are now.